Hey guys, it's Julie from Plan to Create, and I thought it would be fun to give you a little bit of a state of the creative journal. And basically I have divided my journal into two different books, and this is just going to be a flip through from July forward. I did January, February, March, I think individual flip through of this creative journal, and so those are all out there. I can link them up at the bottom here. But basically I just thought I would take you through this book and kind of show you just how it's kind of going and how I fill it some days and don't fill it other days. So I thought I would just kind of walk you through. I'm going to try not to get too distracted by all of my little memories that this sparks as I flip through it, but I'll try to kind of stick to like some topics of like technique or supplies I've used, things that might be of interest to you. Let me know in a future one if you really want me to just sit and go through my memories. I mean, I'm all about that too, but let's try to keep this a little bit more product and concept focused, or I will try. Okay, so you're gonna see here, I started off with a monthly review. I always stamp the month up the side of the monthly pages here. And then I've always kind of thought like, what do I do now? But this month I just decided, I think I literally had some extra photos that I'd printed and didn't know what to do. So I slapped one or two on here and then just kept building from there. Thought that this was kind of a fun way to check back on the month and see some of the highlights from our month of July. First things first, I should mention here that I pulled out a dated weekly page, and I did end up buying both the dated daily and the dated weekly from Hemlock and Oak this year. I didn't intend to use both, but I just wasn't sure. So occasionally, if there's a time frame where I didn't feel like I could fill a day per page, and I basically, got a week behind, this was a huge solution for me. Sometimes I pull out the actual weekly page and I use that. And other times I just take my daily pages and I date them as if they were weekly. So I'm pretty much open to either. And you're gonna see, I just wanna point out, I use a lot of alpha stamps. I feel like if you're just getting into stamping and you're not really sure what to start with, alphabets are going to be such a safe bet because you can use them a lot. And I would consider getting kind of a variety of sizes. So, some bolder for larger titles. And then I love these ones here. This is like the Savannah alphabet from Carrie Bradford Studio. This is the Salma alphabet from Hiba Alsabai Creates. It's fun to mix and match, but I also kind of like taking the same font, if you will, the same stamp set, and using it over and over throughout a page. It's just something that I feel like kind of brings cohesion to a page that otherwise is pretty crazy with all my pictures and colors and things like that. You're gonna see I repeat colors when I can too, pull them from photos if I can, and just do my best. But this is a creative journal. This is not like meant to be a masterpiece studio. So you're gonna just see a little bit of everything here. So this font here is the Cherry Limeade from Carrie Bradford, and you can see I kept the same font, same stamp, but used it in different colors. So it just kind of kept things all looking like they belong together. I print a lot of stickers from digital files onto clear sticker paper and use those. I love them because they're so thin, they don't add any bulk. So between that and just stamping, my book really doesn't get crazy. It's pretty doable. It's not a super chunky guy. This next week, so obviously I decided in July to kind of stick with this weekly format. And then this week, I really didn't have much to say from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but Thursday through Sunday, I was in Chicago. So I just printed nice big photos of what we had done there. Such a fun weekend with family. And I messed up my stamping, which was so frustrating, but it's just, this book is meant to be just a little creative space, and I have to just take risks, and occasionally in those risks you mess it up, and that's what it happens. And I'm stacking a lot of things, all lining them up. I'm never gonna get them all lined up perfectly, so sometimes I think elements that overlap kind of help tease the eye to make it look like it's all meant to be. That's what I'll say about that. All of a sudden now, I apparently decided to go back to a day per page, and it's just kind of fluid like that. So what happens is I will end up typically just gluing a page back in front. I don't mind that at all, and it doesn't hold that much bulk. So that's what happened here. Wednesday, Thursday, we're kind of rounding out the end of the month here in July. And again, this is an absolute creative space for me. So that means that I'm gonna go ahead and try like doodling or drawing something that I otherwise wouldn't. I just looked at a COVID test on a photo online and decided I would try my best to draw it. Do I love the way it turned out? Not really. But I'm just glad that I tried these things. What better spot just to pull out a notebook and just be like, you know what? Like, I'm never gonna know if I don't try it, right? A whole lot of absolutely nothing going on. Basically, I had COVID, obviously I laid low. So I kind of like to use a lot of space with a big bold stamp, again, alphabet stamps, and sizable ones that take up a lot of space come in handy. And this is the Madeline alphabet. I have it in several different sizes, and I use this a lot. It's just such a crisp, clean font. It really helps balance out some of the other crazy stuff I do here in my journal. Again, so this, I promise I won't talk this long about every page, but this was just something I had seen like on a pillow at Target, I want to say, just the round patterns, not the small dots. And I thought to myself, oh, I have a stamp like that. I should check it out. So just kind of allowing myself a space to be inspired by other patterns that I see in the world, by other art. I'd like to do better at that. I feel like I see a lot of inspiring things and I don't always translate them down onto paper in a fun way. And I feel like that I would like to do more of that. So this is a good example of why I use this book and what a creative journal means to me. It means, yes, writing down some memories, yes, some stories, but also a place to experiment with patterns, color, and just design. So this, you can see I decided to do 3 days on one page. Now we're up to the next month. So I did this one a little bit differently by adding each letter alphabet to a label. Sometimes I feel like that just the stamps get lost on paper, so I thought that would be fun. And then this is kind of hard to see, but as we were waiting for my son to find out whether or not he was drafted into Major League Rugby, so professional rugby for US, it was just such a long month for us. He was living with us, and so he was just in the forefront of our minds. Again, this is one of those things I probably could have executed a little bit better. It didn't turn out the exact way I wanted in my head. I could have obviously squeezed the L here, or maybe put a little bit more words this way, closer, you know, like whatever. But I think I still like the font. I still like, you know, kind of the flowers that we paired with it and how it worked out. So it's not the worst, but again, wouldn't know unless I tried. And then I did start to track, I think, the weather. I was really curious because it's just like, it was hot in Idaho. We escaped Arizona this summer to try to beat the heat. And then once we got to Idaho, it was like 100 degrees, over 100 degrees for several days, weeks. I don't know, it felt like forever. So that was just kind of something that I wanted to notate so that I could look back and remember that summer. Kind of, it was hot everywhere. Kind of try to flip through these unless I see something notable. Again, this is a stamp and it's just fun to, you know, play with the color, Obviously, I probably need to fill some space. I'm still doing daily pages and I don't always have what I consider stuff to say. So it's a great way to fill space. I could pull out any stamp and just kind of say like, hey, how could I get creative? Where could I fit this in? And it's a fun little challenge. So there we go. Lots of alphabet stamps to help tell my story. Other just stickers. Again, some more with the stamps, just playing around there and taking kind of a color scheme and running with it. I think I did for the next few days. And it was just kind of, anytime I can limit myself to a certain number of supplies, that's really helpful. Like just, I think this was a Happy Planner sticker and it maybe just inspired me. I had inks to match. So I just pulled those colors as best I could for the next couple of days. This was a really pretty new release from Carrie Bradford's studio. And I'm not usually like botanical-ish, but I liked the combination of the botanical with kind of the graphic. I thought that turned out really cool. So it's fun for me to do, just to play around with that. And then it's good for me to look back too, because I forget what I've done. And it's like, oh yeah, I could try that again. Some more of that same Carrie Bradford stamp, kind of meeting with like graph paper on graph paper was an interesting concept. Just a little bit graphic there. Some more stickers from the Happy Planner. And again, just using, this is a circle stamp from Carrie Bradford, and I just used that. Once it arrived, I started to use that to house those dates. I felt like it gave them a little bit more weight in that space. You're also going to see it's a little confusing. It's like August 9th, and you'll see the 1918, but I'm counting down to the days until the Major League Rugby draft because that was such a focus for us. So this entire month, it was just like, how can I distract myself from that? I'm using a lot of these Happy Planner stickers. They're just so bold and big, and I was definitely gardening a lot this summer, so it kind of was apropos that I include them on my pages. One of my favorite things to do is to take them off the page, and then once I've cut one side off, I'm like, where else could I stick that? So sometimes it's kind of random where they show up, but I do like to do that. And again, you'll recognize this stamp. I must have just had it sitting on my desk, so a lot of times if I just have something on my desk, I'll just keep pulling it out. And it's not a bad idea to do that for a little while. Just keep things, you know, see how many ways you can use one stamp. It's kind of fun. Another way that I figured out this summer, and I'd like to do more of it, I follow One Awkward Mom on Instagram, and she has the funniest stuff. And like, I want more run errands with me, friends. No, I do not want to spend $85 on a dinner to catch up, but I will go to Costco and an estate sale with you and then grab some tacos. The other thing I'd point out here, obviously I forgot to do the date. This was kind of a good grounding exercise for me. It's like every day I would check in and do the date because it was kind of live. It was something that I needed to take care of in that moment. It brought me into my page, and then once you're there, I kind of kept building from that. Obviously it didn't work every day. And then I just want to point out, yeah, I'm totally okay with that space. I have so much that I have included. To not include a little blank space, not a big deal to me. Cute little friend of my son's visited and I left her a note and then she left me a note, just cute. She ended up leaving both of them. So I just tucked them here in my creative journal. And obviously I think I bought these, I think it's pet tape, washi tape. I don't know. It's glossy. Do you see that? And I'm not a fan overall of that. I like a matte sticker over, it's just my preference. This one's glossy too. I like that they're clear. I obviously put them here on my pages, but I kind of went through a little experiment where I felt like I was really missing out on all this pet tape and all these things. I kept seeing other people using it. So I ordered several little rolls and it's just come to find out it's just not my thing. Like I can let that go. I tried it. It just wasn't like my jam. Lots of stamping, lots of big letters. I really like to do that. It takes up lots of space. This one, yeah, still just kind of doing the countdown. And again, just obviously green was like a big theme for me with my gardening. So it was easy to use lots of different shades of green here on these pages. Again, the stamp, like, I think it's good. Like, I probably literally had that space to fill and I probably could go back and, you know, fill some of these spaces just by using that stamp in a colorful way and none would be the wiser. But I'm okay, like I said, with the white space there, but it is also fun just to check it out, just to try, see if I like it. So I enjoy that. I enjoy experimenting, need to do more of it. Generally too afraid to like mark up a page. So it's good for me just to experiment. This was probably Nancy Damiano inspired. I didn't nail it because she probably would have had 3 full circles there. And obviously mine went off the page, but just kind of trying to do a few new things. Cause it's like, I feel like I break this page out similarly from day to day. I mean, you might not think that, but it feels like, you know, when I put my numbers always in the same spot, it's easy to add things into the same spots. So this was just good for me to play around with different ways to orient it. Again, something coming off the page there. I like that. And that probably, yeah, like I cut this, it was like more of a U shape. So I probably trimmed that off and then just stuck it there and a little bit there. Just not gonna let any pieces go to waste. Lots of words and no pictures here for this particular couple days, and fine with that. And I probably stuck to the day per page because I had done my countdown. Obviously, I maybe didn't have as much to say as I thought I would, but I kept the pages that way because I'd already like numbered them. I had already assigned them space. So just letting it be open like that if there's anything else to say. Yeah, this was such a roller coaster ride. So we're down to day 1 and 0. My son actually found out the day before the draft officially was announced. One of the coaches that he ran into leaked it to him on accident. So but he didn't tell us so that we would all be surprised the day of the draft. And it was just really fun. We had several of his friends over to watch the draft show on TV. And just a big moment for him. We flew our daughter out from Tennessee to meet us, actually surprised us in Salt Lake. And I didn't even tell my son or my husband. So it's like I kept the secret with her. It was pretty late, last minute, so I didn't have to hold the secret long, but it was pretty sweet to have her surprise them and just to be able to experience that together as a family. It's a big deal for us. This, I decided to just do the entire draft. So like round 1 picks, and then these are round 2 picks. My son was 22nd pick overall, which was awesome. Like he didn't come from a big rugby school. A lot of these other kids, you know, have dedicated their lives, and he kind of had a more balanced approach for college in which he skied and he played rugby. It wasn't like he was all in. So for him to get the opportunity to now be all into rugby is awesome, and he's happy. So we love Chicago. We're really pleased that he's there and just in a really good program, it seems like. I got home that weekend and I must have distracted myself by designing stickers. I had wanted to create some little stickers for myself, and when I made these and shared them, others were like, hey, you should list them in your Etsy shop. So this is pretty much them. I continue to tweak them because I was just kind of worried about the Etsy licensing. It's like kind of broad in the sense of like, I just can only resell and produce things that I make on Canva that I've altered. I can't take someone's design that they've designed on Canva and just list it in my shop. And that totally makes sense. So just kind of, I kept tweaking some of these things to just make them even more uniquely my own design, even though I had actually used, you know, I didn't design the gourd by myself, but then I would just do things to kind of tweak it. So my final design is even a little bit different than that. And I just got like a bee in my bonnet. Like I literally spent like so many hours just working on that. and it was really fun to play with it and then to put some of the things here in my planner. Mixing in, I use a lot of stickers from In a Creative Bubble. I love her style. I find that a lot of the journaling stickers right now that are available are more vintage or just kind of boho. They're all beautiful, but I just think I am drawn more towards a cleaner graphic. Typically, maybe even a little bit cutesy would be, but not super cutesy. So I have like this very special aesthetic that I'm shooting for, and I don't even know if these necessarily nailed it. I'll keep tweaking, but it's just kind of fun to play around and then to take something from current culture, you know, very mindful, very demure. My kids, I was driving them nuts by saying that whole weekend, so I had to make a sticker. It was just kind of fun. So then you can see September, I started out like with this really, you know, a little bit more of that like vintagey, beautiful, like floral aesthetic, which is available, and I appreciate it. I love it, but it doesn't, again, I don't think it matches up. This didn't draw me back to add more. It was kind of like, okay, that's all we did. I had started off the month kind of that way, and then you're gonna see I pretty much go back to my usual pretty quickly. This is just a simple triangle. How simple is that? But if you just want to fill some space or add a little background, just simple shapes will do. Not easy peasy. And then this is important for me to share too. Like there are just holes, and I didn't even bother to come back, nor will I probably, and that's okay with me. I had done this, otherwise I would have glued these together and just skipped it. But since I'd done that, I liked it. I was like, okay, moving on. This was kind of a fun page where I just kept everything black and white, and I could try to do that a little bit more. It's fun. I have plenty of stuff in my stash that I could, you know, definitely do monochromatic pages. This is a sticker from Lightly Inked. Same kind of style as this, but it just pulls off so much differently, and I really like the black and white, the crispness of it. So this was sort of monochrome, or at least just neutral, and I love that. I can appreciate that, but I can also sprinkle color, so pretty good with whatever. I hadn't read for a long time, and I just kept telling myself every day, like, I need to start a book, I need to read, and then, like, obviously also me starts watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and just wastes, like, how many hours zooming through that entire little show. That was a waste, but funny. Yeah, and then just some journaling and different stuff going on here, so I just kind of, would come and sit down and just get my thoughts down on paper sometimes, and then other times I'd think I was going to and never make it back. It's just kind of the way it is. Here is me playing around with a little bit more of my own stickers, as well as just some others. I had designed these, so I think, yeah, I had been doing the date and the day of the week there, just to repeat, just to make it bolder. Obviously it's in the corner, but it's kind of fun, and I had intended to continue doing that, but obviously dropped the ball. But yeah, just some cute little things. This was super inspired by my friend Connie, Cocoa Plans. She has that, I don't remember the name of the journal. Is it the Our Journal that does this one, or is it a different one? But I thought, oh gosh, I could totally take my weekly spread and break it up differently. And I do have every intention of coming back to this. I went to San Antonio this weekend for a friend's birthday, and I would love to come back and record some of those memories. So I hope I will. I have pictures. I should. I just haven't yet. And then this was an idea that I saw online. I hope I wrote it down. Ooh. But I had seen someone that had just laid out some other stickers. It wasn't necessarily just these, but it was this kind of concept. And I thought, oh, I could do that with these stickers from the Happy Planner, because there's just so many in those sticker books. And oftentimes I'm like, I'm never going to use that. And I just liked the way that turned out, and it was fun to play around with it. And then this again was just some more of those stickers that I designed mixed in with some stamps, and just, I probably had seen something on Pinterest that kind of inspired me to do this too. So again, looking for some of that outside inspiration to get my pages done. This again has some stories still to come back and tell, but I did like how these, I ended up taking some photos myself of our little Airbnb so that I could get the listing going live. We were gonna hire a photographer, but just he was out of town, so I was like, hey, I'll just snap some pictures until he gets back. I think they're still up, so far they're doing okay. But that was kind of fun to record in that way there. And then again, just like a little blank page, but also just some basic stories. It helps when I snap photos. That's like, it is better, but I also just don't get around to it all the time. This is my October page, so you can see I've kind of started the idea, but I have not done the full wrap up. This here is from Kelly Perky, well, actually Paper Person, and I just thought it was kind of a fun little inclusion. I don't have a major plan for it, but it's like, I like that concept to be over here. I could have probably just done that. And then I've been terrible about lining up teeth and numbers. So that's just something I would warn you if you use clear stickers and you use a planner like this with little numbers. I mean, really, if I had just adjusted it a smidget, they would have been fine. But now I have two friends that look like they have blacked out teeth, or a friend and a daughter, and I'm sorry. Like, oh, I feel bad. done it there too, which yeah, age is like, I should know better. This was something that I had also seen on maybe Pinterest, I don't know where, and I thought, oh, that's so cute. It was more these colors. And then I tried to execute it here, and I think it went really blah with the particular colors that I chose. So this was not a win as far as design, but it's just like, that's okay. Like, I like this and I can remember that. And yeah, just not too worried. Look at my little doggy with her glasses. So cute. So she can stick her head out the window and I don't know what, not lose an eyeball. Okay, so we're back. Yeah, we've still been at day per page, and this was a fun trip to Chicago to go see my son. We got to watch a rugby game, met my kids from Tennessee there. They brought their dogs, just good times. So lots to do and say on those pages. And then just a weekly recap as I came back to real life and things felt slow. You know, it was just easy to pull a whole page together. And this is probably where I first got these adorable stamps, and I love them. You'll see them later on in November, and just in solid black. They look a little different, but still really great. And those are Carrie Bradford Studio. I believe they're called Just Another Day. And another weekly recap spread. Like, who is this kid? How is that my baby, right? He's like a full-grown man looking so tough. And then these, I feel like I had a lot of like Halloween / fall stuff, and I was kind of feeling like, oh my gosh, the month is kind of wrapping up and I need to use it before I lose the opportunity. And then I'm like always determined to add a little bit of purple, so not sure that it works here, but again, not my favorite pages, but stories are down, photos are there, and we're good. These still need some black. Like, these are so color heavy right now, and once I add some journaling and a little bit more black, I think I will like that better, but that's just kind of where I'm at. And again, some more blank spaces. Here's that stamp again. Love that. And this, I think I just created this into a 2-page spread because I had worked on this and I had worked on this before I'd worked on this, something like that. Something got out of order. Otherwise, again, I probably would have just glued a couple pages together and called it good. This one I had shared on Instagram, and it just kind of was one of those ones where I think I had stamped this in that space and then maybe walk, and I don't know, just kind of, I found this sticker and it didn't start off with this plan entirely, but I thought it looked kind of like, when I decided I wanted to use that sticker, I was like, let's make it like a mind map and just divide it out into the different spaces and kind of tell a few different stories of that day. Super easy, should do that again. You know, it's just so simple to kind of create space for the little stories. So that's something to consider. This one, again, I'm just trying to like fill up some spaces. I had some photos that I wanted to include. I had this one printed from an October album I was working on, like October back in whatever year that was. And then here's October of this year, just like same kid still kind of eyeing his way through the field, and just completely different sport and different size. Some of these I'll come back and I'll fill in, and some of them I won't, and it's okay. I have done my November monthly, and I had these 2 extra pictures printed. I ended up printing doubles of those kind of on accident. So I just was like, you know what, that tells a big story. I'm back here at my office. I'm spending like every spare moment here at my desk and just enjoying myself. And then also just like, I've discovered a yummy meal service here in Phoenix that every once in a while I splurge for and order a few meals because they're delicious and healthy, and it's one less thing to worry about. And then, oh, this day was so fun. I went over to my friend Dina's house. She lives near-ish me. She's about within an hour's drive. And she had like probably everything that the Coffee Monster Co. had ever created. I think it was just like I was a kid in a candy store, and she was so sweet. She had extra rolls that she let me purchase, like full individual rolls. And then she also gave me some samples of ones that she didn't have a duplicate roll of. So just so sweet and generous. And I feel like I always miss the mark on the Coffee Monster Co. release days. I'm not available or I forget. So to be able to do all this and have all these cute little rolls made me so happy. I feel unworthy because I haven't like worked hard enough for them, but really sweet. So that was a highlight, and it was fun to just take the entire page and just, you know, let that shine. Yeah, and then obviously kind of got started. Still have some work to do. Sometimes I write things in pencil that I want to remember to come back and stamp later. And then still kind of working through these pages, and you're gonna just see a lot of blank spaces, and it's okay. I've had a busy weekend. I celebrated my 50th and had some girlfriends in town, so some of those pictures I still need to print out of the weekend, but that was really, really fun. So still kind of going to get those caught up. And then after everybody left, I was little Miss Homebody, just like, I'm not leaving the house. I'm just going back under my rock. And so that kind of set the tone. I just started stamping that. I didn't really have anything in mind. And then I will probably add some journaling and maybe a photo down here. I can't remember. I think I got a peppermint mocha that day. We went on a walk, and we can walk over to a Starbucks, and we don't do it very often, but it's kind of a treat at the end of the walk. And their cup was so cute, and I just kept it sitting here on my desk so that I could just remember to recreate it somehow in my planner. I wasn't sure I would actually do an actual cup, but I knew I wanted to do those colors or something. So that was fun. And then I had Mohs surgery there on my face. In January, had it on this side. It was like a much longer procedure, much longer scar. This one is like a no big deal award. But when a doctor tells you to take it easy, I'm like, hey, don't have to ask me twice. So just kind of taking the last couple of days pretty simple. Today is here, and I don't have anything started on that one yet. And then obviously I have the rest of the month all stamped out, ready to go. I did that with the Carrie Bradford, these Just Another Day stamps, and her big oversized alpha, which I love. And just kind of a fun, I chose a very neutral pattern or color so that I could add whatever color I felt like it. And some of these are fun because I didn't add a lot of color, just kind of keeping it a little more neutral. But it's been fun to be able to do whatever I want. Like pretty much anything will go with that baseline. So I'm getting a kit today from the paper person, like her holiday kits. So I think I'll do some of her colors and try to sprinkle a bunch of her stuff on my December pages. But other than that, I just wanted to kind of give you guys a walkthrough, kind of show you that no, not every day is full, and I am okay with that. I don't think you'll ever regret just a little bit of time spent in a journal. Like if you're watching this still, like you're that type of person that you're never going to regret that time. And sometimes some pages I'm here for the stories, just loving the little triggers of memories. And sometimes I'm really enjoying just how I creatively filled space that I didn't necessarily otherwise know how to fill. So I don't know. I just hope that you guys could see this, that you could be inspired. If you have some blank pages, honestly, I say just skip them. You can glue them together if you need to, just like have closure, but you can also just allow yourself to kind of pick up where you are today. And then when I finish that, I can always go back and fill holes, right? But I'm not going to stop because of this. I'm not going to let it like slow my roll too much. So I hope that this is of some inspiration to you. I hope it makes you want to go dig out some stamps or some pens and paper and get busy in your own journal, whatever form that looks like. All right, you guys. I will hopefully be back. I have a stack of planners and things I'm considering for 2025, and I would love to walk you guys through kind of my thought process and where I'm trying to head. And other than that, I will catch you next time. Take care.